We are happy to announce that this episode of the SWW show is partially brought to you by Humble Bundle. Well, not really. We are part of the Humble Bundle referral program, and we just wanted to say that if you like really cheap games and maybe helping charity pending the Humble thing going on, all you have to do is go to humblebundle.com/?partner equals SWW. That's right, humblebundle.com/?partner equals SWW. And you just do your normal stuff, and it just kind of helps us get a couple bucks here and there. Maybe it helps AJ get his lights, maybe it's Mike camera, maybe we actually pay Corey for helping us out. But again, if you're going to go buy games anyway, it might be worth checking out. Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of these interview episodes of the SWW show. I'm Mike, and today with me a special guest from, well, it can't be that far. To get us started, do you mind introducing yourself and the game we're here to talk about?
Of course. Yeah, my name is Peyton. I am a game designer on Esophaguys. Esophaguys is a 2D party platformer where you play as old folks with elongating necks.
That is, so immediately, let's start with the obvious on this one.
hmm
Where did the idea for that come from?
Um, I get asked that a lot, and there's no clear answer really. It's the project started out as a prototype in college. I went to school for game design, and the idea it just I mean it all came to me at once. I was sitting alone in my bedroom trying to think of a prototyping project, and I came up with this mechanic, and I designed the main game just within like 15 minutes. And it hasn't changed since then. But yeah, there's no clear like inspiration or moment of like deciding. It just kind of appeared out of nowhere.
God, that's amazing. So like, as we kind of talked right before, obviously this style to me, like when I was looking at it, stood out to me, and obviously the long next
hmm
part of it. But like it might look to me as it reminded me of this like very adult cartoony type look.
hmm
Like was that kind of when you started thinking of this like long neck prototype kind of was that one of the things that stuck with you too of like, oh, this is an art style that kind of work with it kind of, or did that kind of just come a little bit down the pipeline?
No, that was immediately the style. Like there was no there was no decision. Like it's like this is so yeah. It's me and a team of four people, and we all have like similar like aesthetic values, and we appreciate this kind of this like '90s kind of cartoon art style we grew up with, and we don't see it a lot, in games anymore. But yeah, it's just it was a natural fit, just based on our like personal preferences and the game mechanic. It just the two paired so well. There's no other. We didn't even look at anything else.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I could honestly picture something of this look, like with like the look of like the next stuff. And can you imagine it being like a hyper serious, like real, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like that semi-realistic thing of like, but like this like this type of style. I feel like it really works. Like even stuff like I'm watching
Hmm.
like your trailers we're talking, and like there's like the little background elements that I think stood out to me. Kind of was looking at too, like kind of how like it really kind of took that style a little bit further.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So let's kind of talk then. Obviously, so as like what starts me kind of is this kind of party game esque kind of you're all traveling together. Do you mind talking about kind of a bit more kind of what is this gameplay loop that kind of people can expect kind of while they're experiencing this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we describe the game as a party platformer, which we hope gives the right expectations. So we have two modes in the game. There's a cooperative mode, we call adventure mode, and there's a competitive mode, which we just currently dub minigame mode. So pretty much off the bat, you can decide which kind of mode you want to play, and there's like a central lobby and within that lobby, you can go to adventure mode where you work together, co-op. So we're currently developing a lot of mechanics to support more co-op features, like picking each other up, using each other as bridges to go across different gaps, different items you can pick up that you can work together to move, and some more puzzles. So the co-op adventure mode, it's working together, but you can also very easily play around with your friends and knock them off the cliff, with good fun. We also have the mini game mode, which is competitive, and we're planning our current mini game that we're finishing up right now is it's like a soccer-like mini game with goals that move around the level. Yeah, and you play in teams against each other, and you could do that endlessly, and we'll have levels that are dynamic. The level environments change as the mini game progresses. So yeah, it's hopefully catering to players that like to work together and compete. But it is a game that needs to be played with friends.
No, that makes sense. Kind of. I was curious when you made a game like this that kind of has to be made with friends, kind of, or a good
Hmm.
example. Like so we're talking like obviously I see the game on Steam and it's saying how it has to be played with like a mouse key, with a controller. I'm kind of curious, kind of, where these types of decisions kind of came from. Obviously, because like you're not inherently limiting like a ton of viewers, but obviously you're limiting some level of limiting of people, kind of, and obviously you made different mechanical decisions than a lot of PC games have made. I'm kind of curious, kind of if that was kind of planned on purpose in the beginning, kind of be like this is a controller type game, or is that kind of something that evolved over time?
No, it was designed from the start with a controller in mind. Basically, how our character controller works, it's a dual joystick, which is hard to emulate on PC. I mean, it is you can do it with mouse and keyboard, but specifically because we wanted to make a multiplayer game, controller is just the best way because you can get full range, like 360 movement on body and head, which makes it's so much more easy to control. We actually are adding support for keyboard and mouse. Yeah, the current Steam page is we don't have the updated demo yet, but we are adding that just for those like fringe cases, but we really don't recommend it. Yeah, it is designed from the ground up with controller in mind. Is our final market like I mean, there's a lot of players on Steam that use controller, but it is not it's still not the most common. So our goal eventually is to get it out on consoles.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you have that like Steam. It's not like per se hard to find accounts like a market of people who have controllers. Like it's probably I bet you it's something absurd number of like active Steam users probably have a controller for the PC. But
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely like there's some level of inherent limitation and there's some level of like there's at least some level of PC people who would like roll their eyes or something when they see that too. You always get
Oh
those. And
yeah.
once you see people like you if you a what?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
like the end of the world happened.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
I'm curious also, as we said there too, as you said, this is also a co-op experience kind of. I feel like
Hmm.
so that's a good example of something we don't see a ton of, right, as split screen co-op games anymore, right? We always talk about how there's less and less of them. Was that
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
obviously that's something it sounds like from the beginning at least was part of the like really was the experience in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's really just couch co-op. It's like all of us as developers on this game, we grew up with these games, like in different kind of, not just like party games, but just any sort of game you play together, like on the couch. Like those have kind of disappeared, and we all like, I mean, maybe it's rose-tinted glasses, but we all really we look fondly on those memories, and we want to make continue that kind of game experience where you're playing together in the same room.
Yeah, I am always curious about that too, and the way you said that is very true of like the roasting of like how much of those memories are actually good, like of like we all remember
Yeah,
them being
yeah.
like these great games, these great experiences, but like were they like I always think that's something even as simple as like everyone talks about like GoldenEye is this revolutionary experience, and you always like look back and you're like, was it actually
Hmm.
good? Like, are we all just the right age and we all just experienced it? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
exactly.
always those interesting things, those cultural things, and again with like co-ops is a very similar kind of way. Especially like those old
Hmm.
games don't play well. Like especially as a kid, you're like I'm fighting the
Yeah, yeah,
controls while I'm fighting each other. Like
exactly. It's so hard to go back to.
I'm going to, so as we're talking also, one of the fun things is, as a lot of games seem to have been doing recently on Steam, is that you guys have a demo out. And obviously, demos and Steams are always this fun cacophony of trying to get feedback, trying to see what's right, what works. Do you mind,
Hmm.
I'm kind of curious, kind of, let's start when you release this demo. What was the feedback you guys got, kind of as a broad metric, and then kind of was that the feedback you guys expected for this game?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the demo currently up. It's a bit old now. Because yeah, so all the feedback we got, we had to start from scratch. But yeah, we put out this demo. I'd say it's probably been close to a year. And our feedback is pretty much what we expected. Like we know there were some core bugs that we didn't have worked out yet. Um, And those pretty much irked most of the players as we expected. There's just some like weird physics things that we couldn't figure out how to handle, but the controller was still fun to play and like you could still work together. So pretty much we just wanted to get some early feedback based on this demo about the gameplay, about how like what parts of like our level design as well because we were pretty set on like the levels we made for this demo and we got some good feedback on those, some of which we didn't expect, like a few areas were too hard or not obvious which direction to go. Some things like that really helped out a lot. But yeah, the biggest thing was that we had a couple of these kind of game breaking bugs that didn't happen often, but they happened often enough where if you played the game or play the demo like all the way through, you're probably going to experience it once or twice. And yeah, we really tried to sit down and figure out how to fix those, and we couldn't actually with our like current demo. So we had to start everything over from scratch because these bugs were foundational that we built up without really knowing. And so yeah, now we're like probably a month away from releasing our updated demo with new levels, completely brand new physics, but it all maintains the same art and the same game feel.
That's interesting. I'm kind of curious in that realm then. For you guys, how did you guys kind of balance that line of, like, with a demo, kind of making sure that it's both reflective of the actual experience, but like obviously making sure you're not like uploading something in the demo that you can't update in the main game, kind of. How do you guys kind of balance that, or is it just kind of like, oh, any of these systems we just pull from for the demo is kind of how you treated it?
Um, I think I guess what we were going for is establishing like our main core mechanic, right? Making it work well, neck stretching, moving around the environment, and also the art style. So if we had our core mechanic and the art style, like pretty much presentable, like for the final release, that's what like our stage was. Okay, we're going to release a public demo. As long as these things are going to maintain intact, as we continue to develop.
No, no, that's very interesting. So games like this, I guess the reason I'm always intrigued by is because like what's interesting is like obviously the levels are the ways you guys experience it, but like mechanically, it's a game that like what's fun about it is right obviously is that you kind of learn the mechanics super on it early on, and you kind of master them and get better at them, and that's like the fun of playing with your friends, and
Hmm.
and obviously the chaos and all of that. How
Yeah.
did you guys kind of treat as making sure the demo got that, but also like making sure they want it. Like, how did you make sure it wasn't like, and now they could just play the demo forever? I guess because like to me that'd be the big thing of a game like this is like, if I was a user, if I was a player, I'd be like, what's the difference between like I guess the main game and the demo to me?
Oh, right. Yeah. We actually had so we've been to a few game festivals. Most recently we were at Game Force in Belgium and Netherlands. It was like a live showcase. And we did we had people who just didn't want to stop. Like they thought it was a full game and they just played it for like we had these two young kids they were like 8 and 10 like brothers
Mm.
and they just played like for an hour straight like at our booth. So I think we do have that problem a little bit. But I think what really separates is our plans for the full game is it's like I don't know over 5 times the amount of content that's in the demo.
Wow,
So it's
so you guys
just
have a lot more kind of planned going there.
yeah, we do. So we want to have several different types of mini games, all like sports related. Like we're looking at a dodgeball game, we're looking at like a racing sort of game. Yeah, and our soccer game is like what's currently in the demo, but it's not polished. So
Is there
yeah, we're just trying to.
is there a type of minigame that you kind of seem that like kind of players seem to experience the best? I'm assuming some sort of like soccer or some sort of easy like ball collision game probably feel like the cleanest for like, mechanics like this, but if anything else kind of stood out for you guys.
The soccer like the ball so our like iteration it's like a mix I guess between soccer and basketball. The goals like move around, but that's the only one we have public playtesting. All the other ones are just in dev playtesting. So personally, I do like the we call it Esophaguys. It's our yeah, it's like the soccer one. That one is it's just fun to hit a ball around and moving with the controller to try to block goals and stuff is it's pretty fun and it's surprisingly competitive.
No, that sounds great. Yeah, no, that yeah, because like games like that, like I guess to me one of the big things is like there's always that fine line of obviously you guys aren't a precision platformer and like even games like dodgeball. I'm
hmm
curious how, like I could see players like get super weird of like this isn't quite what I want. Like it's like kind of when they throw in it's a little bit off.
hmm Yeah, we it's like intentional or we as we develop the feel like of the game, like the entire fun, like our game is entirely about this character controller, right? And we spent so much time trying to get it like exactly how we wanted it. And part of that is to have a sort of wonkiness inherent in the controller where it's intentionally imprecise in some ways. Because that results in these these weird kind of interactions or just goofiness, right, where it's not so easy to control, and we really like that because yeah, it creates these interactions that it just works so well with the art style and the these long necks moving around. It just always gives a laugh, and that's what we're aiming for.
No, that sounds great. And again, I think there was a great place for this. And one of the things I really appreciate when the reason I wanted to reach out to you guys is I think we don't get enough of games like this, like of like the like, hey, it's still a fun time, we still do stuff, but it's just not too serious. And I think there's kind of something really
hmm
fun about that. And like obviously, I think games that like what was that, Gang Beasts and a few others kind of like we have this thing of like, hey, we
Yeah.
just kind of we know what we are. Like it's like no one's taking themselves too seriously, and that's what makes these things so great. Uh,
Yeah, that's what we're intending.
Obviously, as we talked, there's some big kind of stuff. I want to kind of leave the floor on you for a second. Kind of, is there anything else kind of in this game that you feel mechanically or system or visually kind of that you want to shout out that stands out to you? Anything that you feel that like for people that like, hey, we should talk about that like that they're kind of missing?
um I mean, not really. I think the next stretching mechanic. I guess I could talk about it a little bit more.
Okay.
I think so. This is a platformer game, right?
Mm-hmm.
2D, and one of the things we think is unique about this controller is the platformer without jump. So there's no jumping in the game, right? And yeah, we just like we think it's a clever use of our of having this elongating neck, right? It gets over the need for jump, and so it just I mean the controllers are very simple, right? There's three buttons, and but you're able to do so much: move around, bite each other, pick up objects, interact with the objects. So I think yeah, I mean it's just I think that's really it. It's just this yeah, the main mechanic, the next stretch is in the platformer kind of sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, that's what we're most proud of.
No, and I think that is great. As I said, um, it's the game. Just to make sure I got it, is Esophaguys.
Yeah, Esophaguys.
Esophaguys. You guys are Esophaguys LLC. The game is currently available to wishlist on Steam. There is currently a demo available to play. I've got to ask the obvious question. Do you have a rough timeline of when you either expect this to come out or expect it to be announced to be coming out?
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be next year,
Okay.
almost a guarantee. So our current Steam page has this year, but we think we're just gonna get the demo out by the end of the year, and then yeah, hope. I mean, we would like to be in the spring, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. No, that sounds great. I want to say thank you again for talking to me this afternoon for you. We had a little mess again, so I want to say thank you again for being your flexibility to that. And again, everyone, go check out the demo currently available on Steam. As we heard here today, it is going to be updated very soon with some more recent additions. And also
Hmm.
keep an eye out for the game coming out. Sounds like early some point next year. So thank you
Yeah, yeah.
again, and best of luck as
Thank
you're kind
you.
of finishing development and kind of working on all this.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been it's a good time talking.
Perfect. Well, have a good one. The SWW show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW show on social media at the SWW show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day.